This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our April 21st Century Directors Meeting. It's nice to see everyone here. We've got a nice full agenda today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. We've already made it through the first point of agenda, which is a warm welcome. Um, I'm glad to see everyone here. Thanks so much for joining. We do have Joe Collins here this morning from the Department of Ed, our new consultant. If you haven't met him on Zoom yet, he's here. And I'm going to actually uh, put it over to him for the very second piece of the agenda, which is updates from the department regarding the new grant contracts.
Yes, so good morning, everyone. We are slowly preparing to send out the award notices for the new grants. I'll just say that it is good news all around, so I can't give any official updates yet, but I'm hoping to have information out to everyone, all of the grant applicants, early next week. So let me know if you have any questions about that, but it's just been kind of a little bit of a slow process with coming on board and lots of other stuff happening. So you should be hearing early next week about the new grant cohort that would begin this next fiscal year.
Thanks. Anybody have any follow-up questions or questions about the new cohort? Great. Then we will go ahead and move on. You may have seen an email from me recently about the professional development document that we'd like to have completed by May 30th. I'll send another one after this meeting just so that you have it at the top of your email box. But this is just that same professional development document that we do every year, which is you recounting what has been done for PD in your program, and kind of what topics you covered and dates, etc. And if you have any questions about that, you can certainly reach out to me directly. But I'll make sure that you have the document attached to the email. Of course, you can find it on the website as well. And you could have that, if you could have that filled out and returned to me by May 30th. You can copy Joe on there too if you want, or you can just send it directly to me and I will compile everything and make sure that he has it. Okay. Bear with me just for one moment because I wanted to share these new grantee calendars with you, and for some reason, I'm not seeing them on my list to share here. So hang on just a second. In the meantime, um, does anyone have anything that they would like to talk about with Joe? Any questions about your current grant, or as you are preparing for summertime? We'll have time at the end as well, but if you have questions right now, this is a great time to do it while I'm pulling up these documents to share with you. Don't be shy. Don't hesitate, because if you have a question, somebody else probably has it too.
Heidi, I saw that you sent out an email for the Iowa After School Impact Conference coming up this fall. I'll be honest, I have not looked a whole lot into the flyer, so that's on me. Has a whole lot of information been released about cost and then hotel room?
Yeah, great question, both of those. Yes, if you go to the registration, which we'll pull up here as well, so you can take a look. But cost for the conference this year is $140. So that's just a little bit more than it was last year, but not much, just kind of to cover the cost of inflation, you know. We are doing things a little bit differently this year too, which I'm hoping people will be excited about. We can talk about that as well. Hotel rooms. Now, for this group particularly, you are probably going to need to follow the state requirement for which hotel you book. And when you get to the registration page, you will see a link to a bunch of different hotels that will meet those requirements. It'll say this on there too, but what you do need to be aware is that many of these hotels want you to email a specific email address in order to get that state rate for your hotel room. And so if you just, look through the list and say, oh, I'm going to call, this particular Hilton or whatever, and you get someone at the front desk, they might not know what you're talking about, which can be frustrating for everybody. So make sure that you look at that list, and it's an Excel document. It'll tell you what the hotel is and where it is, and then it'll give you a phone number, and then it'll also say if there's a specific phone number or email address that you need to use to get that specific rate, then you can. Now, if you're using funds outside of 21st Century for your hotel room for whatever reason, or if you have partners that are coming and they have and they don't have those restrictions on their funding, then there are a couple of really good options right by the location as well. Like there's one within walking distance just right across the street, Home to Suites, and it's only like $11 more than the state rate. So it's really not expensive either. But those are the options that you have available. So we're going to be really centrally located this year on the Drake campus, and there's lots of options around that area. And then before we get back to the calendars, I can give you a little bit more feedback or a little bit more information about the conference itself. Like I said, we're doing things a little bit differently this year. When you register for the conference, you'll see that you're registering for the 24th and 25th, but you'll notice that on the online registration, it'll say that the conference isn't starting until 4 p.m. on Wednesday, the 24th. That's for the network, like the statewide network of out-of-school time providers. For 21st Century, there will be a separate, we probably won't do a registration. We'll probably just do like a Google document since it's just our own little family here. But we will be having a directors meeting. Some of you that have been here a long time kind of remember the olden days when we used to do this, and it was really nice just getting 21st Century directors together for a couple hours on that first day to talk about, everything having to do with 21st Century. And since we have Joe now as our new consultant at the department, we just thought this would be a great opportunity for every director to come together, new cohort grantee directors as well. We will begin most likely at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So if you are traveling from a distance, you're not going to have to leave super early in the morning, which is great. We'll start at 2. Now that's tentative. Maybe it'll be 1:30. It's probably 2, but you'll know ahead of time. And we'll be right there at the Drake campus again at the Olmsted Center. We'll have our directors meeting in the afternoon, and then we'll have registration, which will open up for the wider conference. We'll have a really nice reception that night, so dinner will be provided for you. That's when we'll do our 21st Century Awards. That's when we'll do our network awards, our Youth of the Year, that type of thing. So that will be a really nice kind of opportunity to just kind of relax and enjoy and network and celebrate. And then moving into the Thursday program, it'll be kind of all business. So we'll get together in the morning, we'll have breakfast, we'll have our welcome, and then we will go straight into sessions. So people will have the opportunity to get to as much actual professional development as we can pack into that day. And for folks that need credit hours for programs that are licensed, People are going to be able to get up to 6 hours of credit that day, which will be really nice. We'll come together for lunch, but we won't be so jam-packed with doing all of our awards and our bringing youth in during the day, that kind of thing. We're going to be able to stick really to PD business on Thursday, and then have Wednesday kind of be the fun and informative as well, with then the directors meeting ahead of time. Anybody have any questions about that, or any thoughts? If you hate that idea, I would suggest that you join the PD committee and let us all know. But otherwise,
Is
I'd love to hear from you now if you have any, or if you think that sounds good. That's really good feedback for me too.
I think that sounds great. Is there like a way to submit organizations or partners for awards to 21st Century? Because I'd
Oh yeah.
really like to make sure we get some of our partners recognized this year if
Oh
we can.
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
That will be coming soon. We'll have
Okay.
opportunities for partners to be recognized for sure. For youth, certainly to be recognized as well. And then actually, I'm going to shout out Jenna had a really cool idea, but it's a little bit of a secret. So I might be asking you some pointed questions and then you're going to figure out what it is. But just know that there's going to be some questions coming from me about your work and that kind of thing in your program. We're potentially hoping to have a couple of speakers as well. We're at Drake, so we have representatives that are professors at Drake that could potentially come and speak about after school programming and their advocacy for it, which would be amazing. So I think it's going to be really fun and a really nice, just an opportunity for people to celebrate everything that we do, especially right now. I think we need a little bit of celebration. If you also have ideas for things that you would like to for sure have covered in that directors meeting ahead of time, please let me know because the PD committee and I will, and Joe, of course, will come up with what we think is an appropriate program for that. But we might miss something. So make sure that if you have, if there's something that you really, really want to have covered, either come to the PD committee and make sure that you're on that or email me directly. Any other thoughts or questions about impact?
Hey, Heidi, this is John. So, when we normally did that, we would have Ron and those guys from Texas
Yeah.
kind of give us updates on any changes that are going to be taking place. Is that something that we're still going to do, or is that something that will be done later?
As far as for like evaluation, yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a great question. We certainly won't have them in-house, but
Yeah.
we will, if we need to have them virtually, we will do that. Otherwise, I know Caitlin's not here today, but Caitlin is the committee chair for evaluation committee, and I know that she will be able to present anything that's new from them as well. I don't know if we'll have any updates on APR before that, or certainly the local evaluation, I can't imagine would change a lot. I don't want to speak for Joe, but I'm sure if there are changes, they will most likely be fairly minimal in this first year. Yeah, that'll definitely be on the agenda.
Yeah, and those guys have never, I mean, I've never seen them in person, but we've always,
Yeah.
patched in. And so it was an opportunity, especially for new grantees to just kind of ask questions and, get clarification on stuff. And then again, just giving us updates. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there,
Yeah.
just as an area of interest. So,
That's great. Yeah, well, that's definitely on the agenda. And then also, remembering too that October is usually the month that we end up having that local evaluation training. So anything that we don't end up getting covered at the directors meeting in September or questions that come from that meeting then can be carried over to the local eval training in the next month. So to your point, Bailey, too, I would encourage you this year to bring partners if you can, or invite them. Um, you you certainly can use professional development dollars to register 21st Century Partners and bring them with you. It would be a great opportunity for them to also be exposed to the professional development opportunities that are going to help make your program stronger. But also then on that Wednesday night, it would be wonderful to have them able to network as well. And if you've got statewide partners, that's a great opportunity for them to connect with other programs too, and potentially be able to grow our community that way.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Just going to check the chat real quick. I saw we had a few things. Okay. I will make sure to share these with you as well, but I just wanted to quickly give you a little sneak peek of new grantee timelines for the coming fiscal year. We've got updated information in here for your new contact, Joe. All right, drawing your attention to the committee work. Just a reminder that we have 4 communities of practice that folks can participate in. Each committee should be chaired by a director or could potentially be a program staff. I know we've said this a lot, but if there are folks in your program that are interested in leadership opportunities, or perhaps you have a right-hand person, they are very welcome to come and be a chair or a co-chair. I want to talk a little bit more about committees as well, but you know what? I think I'm getting ahead of myself, so we'll get to that here in just a minute. A reminder of what our committees are: evaluation, chaired by Caitlin Schmidt, professional development committee, which is currently seeking a chair, as we had Cassie Gerst leave us. She was the longtime chair of that committee. So if you're interested in potentially chairing or co-chairing the PD committee, that's something that would be wonderful. Same goes for the Communication Partnerships and Sustainability Committee. We are looking for a chair for that as well. That committee is growing and changing a little bit. We have some really good ideas from our last meeting about how to move forward with some action steps to do some things that will really benefit the whole network. So if that's something that you're interested in being part of, you can reach out to me separately and we can talk about it. Now, remember, you certainly don't have to commit to doing this all by yourself. If you would like to say, hey, I'm interested, but I would like a co-chair, then that's just fine. We can put the call out for that and see if we can find someone to work with you, or maybe you have someone in mind. Excuse me. Family Engagement Committee, and then our new grantee and staff transition committee. So this is a document that I would encourage you to at least bookmark on your computer, or if you want to print it, you can certainly do that. But the links are live, so that's really helpful if you have it ready to go on your desktop. Couple of things coming up right away. The Iowa After School Alliance Thrive Together series. April 30th is the next installment of that, and it's adopting a mentor mindset. Volunteer Iowa is going to be providing professional development for that. It is an hour and a half of HHS credit as well. And then you've just got all of our committee meetings lined up for you with the links attached. Summer Symposium is on here, but we don't have we don't have dates yet. We just have kind of potential dates when it usually is. But you know, they're really, really slow at getting us dates. So as soon as we know what they are, or if they're in fact doing it this year, then we'll make sure that you have that information as well. APR dates are forthcoming as well. So if you see something in highlight, just know that that's still kind of TBD. Again, we'll most likely be releasing the new RFA in the fall. Technical assistance meetings will be potentially happening right around impact time as well. And then, of course, the Impact After School Conference. And just a reminder to you and your grant requirements that a minimum of one representative for each grant cohort that you have is required to attend. So if you're a school district and you've got 5 cohorts currently running, you need to send at minimum 5 attendees to Impact After School. Hopefully more. Hopefully you have an opportunity to send lots of representatives from your program, but you need to send at least 1 per cohort. Okay. Any questions about grantee timeline or what's going on in 25-26 fiscal year? All right. We will also have a professional development calendar prepared for you as well, and I'll make sure that that's included in our summary when we send that out to you later. Link to Impact is included in the agenda from today as well. And I'm going to see if I can just go ahead and drop it in the chat for you too. Several people have already registered, and some people have begun to register their staff as well. Just a quick note, this year's registration is just 1 person per registration. So, and the reason why we're doing that is because we have some cool stuff happening, and we need to have it tied to each individual person. If you know that you are going to register staff, but you don't actually know who they are yet, like if you're in the midst of hiring or something like that, just go ahead and register separately under your name. So, for example, if it was my program and I know I'm going to have 3 more staff hired by that time and I know I'm going to send them all, I would just do 3 registrations for Heidi Brown, and then Adriana will most likely reach out to you before you get a chance to reach out to her and say, okay, well, who are they? And when you do know, let us know who they are. All right, Q4 budgets. I think I'm going to let Joe talk a little bit about this now too, and then if we need me to, I can jump in and talk as well.
Yeah, so as we kind of wind down this this grant year, just some things to kind of keep in mind. If you have any carryover, I'll be sending out an email after this meeting. Now is about the time of year that we need to know about any carryover you might be expecting. So definitely send that information to me as we're preparing the contracts for next year for your next grant year, as well as if you have any things that have changed. I know we've had a couple of people reach out with unexpected things that have happened, and they've had to maybe move some funding between line items. Those are all things that are kind of sooner rather than later, better for us to know about, so we could talk about and kind of hash out. But yeah, if you have anything kind of as we're wrapping up towards the end of the year, like you're going to have carryover, or that something maybe didn't go according to plan, now is the time to talk about that as we're preparing grants contracts for the next year. As well as if you have any potential extra funding, we may be able to use that during a summer program to be able to spend down some of those additional funds. Again, something that we might be able to work with you on. And then it's also just nice to know as we lead into the summer, just a quick reminder, if you could alert me if you do have summer programs and what those plans look like, that would be greatly appreciated.
All right, what questions do people have about their Q4 budgets? Couple reminders. You are not able to move professional development funds like you are with your other line items. So if you're finding that that it's, getting to the end of May and or end of April and you've got professional development dollars still in that budget, then make sure that you're either registering folks for Impact After School and using the funds to do that, or looking at other ways to provide PD for your staff or program with those dollars. And if you need help or you need ideas or whatever, you can certainly reach out to me and Adriana and Joe too, and we can help you figure out how to spend that money. Okay, we talked already about the committees a little bit. And just a reminder, and Joe, I don't know if you want to speak on this a little bit or reiterate, but just a reminder that attendance on those committees is part of your grant requirement. And it's kind of the same as what we talked about with the Impact After School Conference. You are required to have representation on at least one committee per cohort that you're running. So if you're a program that has 4 cohorts of 21st century programs, then you should have representation on 4 communities of practice committees. And of course, you can do more. You can always do more, but that's the min.
Yeah, and we of course want to see, broad participation as much as we can. So if we know you're super busy too, though. So if it's clear that something isn't working because of the date or time or whatever, maybe that's something we can look at. I mean, we want to be flexible with you on some of these requirements, but we know that this is kind of one of the best ways to learn and kind of grow and make the program better and kind of assist each other in different ways. So we definitely need your participation in those meetings. And I know in the past they used to kind of watch attendance and monitor attendance. I'd rather not get back into that if we don't have to, but if we have attendance really kind of slipping and getting pretty bad, then we might have to go back to more closely monitoring things.
Thanks, Joe. Any questions about committee meetings or attendance in those? Okay, great. I think that says most of it. I did put the mentor mindset registration in the chat as well for our next Thrive Together coming up in just a few days. If you're not registered for that, you really should. They're great trainings. They're at a convenient time for most people, Wednesday mornings, and they're of course free. So, and they're open for everyone. So if you have even partners in your program or folks that work for you, volunteers, anybody can go and enjoy that. All right, now I want to talk about, again, making things convenient for folks who are super duper busy. And this is an idea that we had. I don't know if you guys are going to like it or not, but I really want to open up conversation about it. So please come off mute and tell me what you think. We have historically had a monthly directors meeting as well as a monthly new grantee staff transition meeting. Those have happened on different days and they're, an hour of commitment each. They don't always last an hour, but that's kind of what you are, committing when you sign up for that. Now, the new grantee and staff transition meeting is really focused on kind of technical assistance and things that are coming up that are timely and relevant to running a new grant. But oftentimes it's something that even a seasoned grantee would really, appreciate. And I could say that as somebody that had done the grant for a long time. There are things that would come up, during the year that it's like, gosh, I really can't remember how to do that. So the idea was to potentially start holding that new grantee and new staff meeting directly after these directors' meetings. People would know what the agenda is beforehand so that they could even potentially stay on if they're not part of that group and just stay on because that's a topic that they are really interested in. And that would kind of keep us from having 2 hours during the month that we are having to commit and just smush it all together in one time. That might mean that on a really, really, really busy and crowded agenda, that might mean that we're in this meeting for an hour and 45 or an hour and a half. But you guys know that it doesn't usually kind of go that long. I want to know what people's thoughts are on that. If that's too long of a chunk of time, if you think that that's a really good idea, if you think that's a really bad idea. I'm looking especially at folks who have been in this for a long time and are people that are on that new grantee meeting that maybe have had several cohorts. Sorry, I've got my puppy today. This is Bonnie. That attend both. So I'm going to be quiet. Jenna, Lynn, Abby, Billy, I'm looking at you guys. Speak up. What do you think?
This is Lynn.
I mean, I think that would work for us.
Yeah. I will say, I had at the beginning of the year, I had thought, I'm just going to try and get to those new grantee, having been here for 20 years, things have changed. And I never made it to one.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, they're just the other times of when they are
Yeah.
was a struggle for me to get both of them on my calendar.
Yeah. What about relatively new folks?
As long as you could give us like a quick little break between the two to stretch and then get right back into it.
I'm
as
gonna
far
need that
as
too.
Yeah, as far as a schedule perspective goes, I think that would be incredibly helpful. And then that way we can have it all on one day.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you as well to have it all on one day and with your stretches. And that would allow us to have more questions and have immediate feedback from what we're supposed to do and those kinds of things. It's a good network as well.
Feel free to poke holes in it too, if there's something that you don't, if you don't like that for whatever reason.
The other thing we could do is you could try it for 6 months. Say, hey, let's give it a try, and then take another survey and say, keep going, re-look at it in a different option.
Yep. Yes, the only thing one of the things I can think of as being a potential issue is if you have someone from your program that you're wanting to train up and you want them to go to the new staff meetings. We won't know exactly when they're going to start. So, like for today, it could be starting as early as 10:45. So that could be something that we might have to shake out or figure out the kinks on that.
Heidi, is there one of our meetings, I come to the director, so I know how long those tend to last or, short or long. Are the new grantee meetings more consistent on their time?
Not really. No, it's very similar. I would say we rarely go the full hour. There occasionally we do, but we rarely go the full hour. They're usually between 35 and 45 minutes.
I was just thinking that whichever one is more consistent, do that one first.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. The idea is that there wouldn't be that many folks that wouldn't be in here that would need to come to the new grantee, because since the directors meetings are mandatory, you would imagine that almost everybody, unless they're on vacation or sick or whatever, would be in this and then would just be able to carry over. And then we'd lose folks, of course, because there's going to be people that look at the agenda and go, yeah, no, I'm not a new grantee. And also I know that topic, so I don't need to stay, you know. Okay, well, I like the idea of giving it a try for 6 months and see how we like it. And then if it's working, great, we'll stick with it. The other thing is too that you would get ahead of time, a schedule of the agenda items. So you'd be able to kind of pick and choose if you're not a new grantee, which ones you're going to go to, and then that way you can plan your schedule accordingly. So like, okay, in October they're going to be talking about I don't know, whatever, and that's something I really want, or they're going to be talking about local eval, and I really want to be in that because I don't feel great about it. So I'm going to make sure I commit 2 hours of my morning to make sure that I can go to that. Okay, we're reaching the end. We are going to be starting the new fiscal year here pretty soon, which means that we need to clean up our email listservs. We've got people who have left, people who are new. So you're going to see a lot of movement probably in your email about media calendar invites. You're going to get notifications that things are being canceled, and then you're going to get new ones. And that's because we want to make sure that those groups are clean for the new year. So pay attention, please, to what those are. If you get cancellations, take them off your calendar. It depends on like what you use. Sometimes they'll come directly off your calendar and you won't have to worry about it. But sometimes you have to go in yourself and actually remove them from your calendar. I just don't want people logging into something that's not happening anymore. That's just confusing. So Adriana and I will send out cancellations to start with, and then we'll give it a day or two, and then we'll do new invites for the new meetings and the new cadences, and then you can be all cleaned up for the coming year. If you are not on a committee right now and you want to be, or you want to add somebody to one, or you want to join another one, now is the time to email me and Adriana about that, and we'll make sure that you get on the roster for those. And then you'll get a calendar invite. Okay, our next meeting is Friday, May 30th. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording, and then Joe and I will stay on in case you have questions or things that you would like to bring up to him.